It was a bright, sunny Saturday afternoon in Springfield, a peaceful suburban town where life typically moved at a slow, predictable rhythm. Families strolled leisurely through the park, children laughed as they swung high into the air, and neighbors exchanged polite, familiar greetings. But that peaceful atmosphere? It was about to be shattered in an instant by a single phone call. A call that would uncover a shocking truth and deliver a dose of instant karma no one saw coming. 17-year-old Malcolm Carter had just one thing on his mind that day: getting the perfect birthday gift for his little sister. He had spent weeks saving up every penny from his part-time job, carefully setting aside enough to finally afford the ideal present: a stunning charm bracelet from Golden Grace Jewelers, an upscale jewelry store downtown. It was more than just a bracelet. It was a symbol of love, something special that would make his sister's face light up with joy. Where are you watching this from today? Let us know in the comments below. With excitement bubbling inside him, Malcolm pushed open the glass doors of the brightly lit showroom, stepping into a world of shimmering gemstones and elegant displays. His eyes scanned the rows of jewelry, his heart racing with anticipation. But the moment he set foot inside, he felt something was off. Behind the counter stood Susan Miller, a middle-aged sales associate with sharp, scrutinizing eyes and a mouth permanently pressed into a disapproving frown. The instant she spotted Malcolm, her entire demeanor shifted. Her lips thinned, her gaze turned cold, and her fingers tightened around her phone like it was a lifeline. Malcolm had seen that look before. He tried to brush it off, focusing instead on the bracelet he had come for. But Susan? She never took her eyes off him. After a few moments of browsing, he finally approached the counter, pointing toward the bracelet with a polite smile. "Hi. I'd like to see that one, please." But Susan didn't move. Instead, she crossed her arms and eyed him with suspicion. "Are you sure?" she asked, her voice dripping with doubt. "That one's expensive." Malcolm's stomach tightened. He knew exactly what she was implying, but he kept his voice steady. "Yes, I'm sure," he replied, pulling out his wallet and opening it to reveal the cash he had worked so hard to save. "I have the money right here." For a moment, Susan's eyes flickered toward the bills inside. But instead of relaxing, she stiffened even more. A quick glance at the security camera, then back to Malcolm. And then, "You know what?" she said, taking a step back. "I think I should call the owner first. You wait right here." Before Malcolm could even respond, she picked up her phone, not to call the owner, but to dial 911. "This is Susan Miller from Golden Grace Jewelers," she said, her voice dripping with false concern. "There's a suspicious individual in my store, young, black, and acting nervous. I think he might be trying to steal something." Malcolm's breath caught in his throat. Had she really just done that? He hadn't done anything wrong. Nothing. He had walked into a store. He had asked to see a bracelet. He had shown his money. And yet, here he was, being treated like a criminal. "Ma'am, I haven't done anything," he said, forcing himself to stay calm. Susan shot him a smug, almost satisfied look. "Then you have nothing to worry about," she said coolly. "The police will sort it out." Before Malcolm could say another word, the distant sound of sirens filled the air. His heart pounded. Within minutes, 2 uniformed officers stormed through the doors. "There he is," Susan announced, pointing at Malcolm like he was a dangerous fugitive. "I caught him trying to rob the store." One of the officers, Sergeant Daniels, immediately reached for his handcuffs. "Son, I'm gonna need you to step outside." But before he could finish that sentence, Malcolm took a deep breath and uttered 5 words that changed everything. "Call my mom. Right now." Susan rolled her eyes.
"Oh, sure."
"I'm sure she'll be so helpful," she sneered. "What is she, a public defender?" Malcolm didn't bother answering. Instead, he pulled out his phone and made the call himself.
"Mom.
I need you at Golden Grace."
Now?"
5 minutes passed. Then 10. The officers were growing impatient, and Susan? She looked even more smug than before. But then, the store door swung open, and in walked Special Agent Regina Carter, chief of the FBI's criminal division. Tall, commanding, dressed in a sharp navy suit, She moved with the authority of someone who had spent years enforcing the law, because she had. The second the officers saw her, their faces went pale. Susan, however, was still clueless. "Ma'am, thank goodness you're here," she said, assuming Regina was just another officer. "I caught this young man." But before she could finish, Regina calmly held up a badge. Not just any badge. One that outranked everyone in the room. "I'm Special Agent Regina Carter, Chief of the FBI's Criminal Division," she announced, her voice sharp as steel. "And I'm also this young man's mother." Silence. Sergeant Daniels gulped. The second officer took a step back. And Susan? She looked like she had just seen a ghost. For the first time, she was speechless. Her mouth opened, then closed. Her face turned a deep shade of red. Regina's piercing gaze landed on the officers first. "You are about to arrest my son," she said, her voice dangerously calm. "Did you even ask for his side of the story? Did you check the security footage? Or did you just take her word for it?" Sergeant Daniels stammered. "We were just following protocol." Regina's eyes narrowed. "Protocol," she repeated, her voice like ice. "Protocol means investigating before making assumptions. But you didn't do that, did you?" Neither officer said a word. Then Regina turned to Susan. "And you," she said, her gaze cutting through the saleswoman like a blade. "You accused my son of stealing because he looked suspicious? Did he do anything illegal? Or was the color of his skin enough for you to call 911? Susan's lips trembled. I was just trying to be careful." Regina cut her off. "Oh, you were careful all right," she said. "Careful enough to ruin your own career." She gestured to Malcolm's phone. Because he had recorded everything. Within hours, the footage would be everywhere. Susan's face drained of color. "Please, I didn't mean any harm." But Regina wasn't interested in excuses. She turned to the store manager. "I assume you don't support racial profiling in your business?" The manager, horrified by everything that had just happened, shook his head furiously. "Absolutely not. Susan, you're fired. Get your things and leave."
Now?
Susan gasped. She looked around desperately, but found no sympathy. Instant karma had arrived. As she shuffled toward the exit in disgrace, Malcolm finally spoke, his voice calm but firm. "All I wanted was to buy a bracelet," he said. Then, with a small smile, he added, "Guess I got something more valuable instead. Justice." And with that, the boy she tried to humiliate walked out with his head held high, while she walked out in shame. If you loved the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's spread lessons of respect, humility, and justice. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.